Okay, so good morning. I was just finishing up my health history intake form because here in a few I'm going over to the student clinic as for my first visit as a patient. I'm going to get a physical done, a full physical examination, and that's super awesome about that is that as a student we get free chiropractic care within the student clinic. And what's even more awesome is that between my 7th and 9th quarter I'll be in the student clinic as a student clinician. So, I got a few minutes to kill, so I thought I would answer a question that one of you guys had asked me earlier, and that was, what is the first thing you do in the morning? So, the first thing I do in the morning is go to the bathroom, so that's not as interesting to talk about. So, I'm gonna tell you guys about the second thing that I do in the morning. Now, I love the morning. Why? Because the morning sets the tone for how the rest of my day is going to go. Meaning that how I think, how I feel, and how I move is going to be a reflection for the rest of my day. So because of that, I have set a few habits, a few exercises that I do throughout my morning that prepares me for the day. I'm going to start this off by a little verse from 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. And it goes like this. The saying is trustworthy. If anyone aspires to the office of overseer, he desires a noble task. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach. Verse 4, he must manage his own household well, with all dignity. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's kingdom? I'll say that again. If someone does not know how to take care of his own household, how can he care for God's kingdom? The bigger picture here. So, how does this have to do with what I'm going to talk to you about today? Now, no, it's not reading Bible verses, although I do read Bible verses as a part of my morning routine, but this ties in to the second thing that I do in the morning. Now, before I explain the second thing that I do every morning, I have to explain to you guys an important concept that ties in with it first. All right, so what is this concept that I want to talk to you guys today about? So we're here at the whiteboard, and I just got this whiteboard, and what an amazing investment it was for me because I love studying with this thing. I can just write all over it, talk to myself. I just love it. So we're going to use this today to talk to you about the second law, excuse my handwriting, thermodynamics. Okay, now hold on. Don't be like, okay, hold on, Steve. Here he goes. He's going on a science tangent. We don't want to hear about that. Hold on one second, because this is going to be very relevant, because I'm going to swing this right back into what I'm going to talk to you guys about today, about the second thing that I do in the morning. Okay, so bear with me really quickly. So the second law of thermodynamics, and I first want to preface this by saying, I have no scientific physics, chemistry background, so I think that even more qualifies me to talk about it. Why? Because I'm not going to bore you about a bunch of crap that you don't care about, okay? So I'm going to keep it really simple, really brief. So the second law of thermodynamics, second law. And what is that law? So the law is a universal law, meaning that it is a law that applies throughout the entirety of the universe, of the space, the galaxies, the planets, the stars, and even you and me. Why? Because we are byproducts of the universe as well, right? Pretty cool, right? So the laws applies to our lives as well, and I'm going to make it very relevant to our lives. So what is the second law of thermodynamics? So the law states, and I'm going to use my own terminology with this one, but it states that energy or the universe favors a chaotic state and does not favor an ordered state. So what does that mean? In case you're wondering, this is the second law. The first law states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So combine these two together and you have energy that is not a creatable or a destructive force. It just is. Energy just is. And it favors chaos and disfavors order. So what does the chaos and order mean? So to give you guys an example here, let's say I have these pencils, right? Now you would say this is still in the box. All the pencils are completely intact. It's in an ordered state. You would agree with me, right? Yes? Now, if I were to take this pencil box and dump it on the ground, what happened? The pencils went everywhere. They exploded. Boom, chaos ensued, right? Another example would be, let's say you're in a sketchy neighborhood and there's a foreclosed house on the street, right? What does it look like? The grass is completely gone jungle. It's yay high. The shingles are falling off the roof. It looks a mess. There's rodents inside the house. The drywall's coming off, right? But why doesn't my apartment look like that? Why doesn't your home look like a foreclosed home? Because you're putting energy into the system to maintain order. So if I were to graph this, so if this were chaos, right there, and let's say we start with order, so this will be starting with the pencils in the box, and then boom, we end up right there. This will be the pencils all over the floor. This will be the foreclosed home. Now let's say if we have an ordered reaction, order, and this was energy, we start with chaos, so we start with the pencils on the floor, and then we end up with order, with the pencils back in the box. And so you're asking if you can see this here, what is this hump right here? What is this hump? This is the energy that you have to put into the system for the reaction to take place. So this will be right here, this will be the act, this little curve right here will be the act of me picking up the pencils. This will be the act of mowing the lawn. This will be the act of cleaning, of creating order, right? So why is chaos in the universe favorable where order is not favorable? You would think order should be the favorable thing because that's what you want, right? But the reason why this is favorable is because it takes less energy to get from here to here. Just like it took less energy for me to drop the pencil box than it would for me to clean the pencil box up, right? So that's why chaos is always favorable than order, okay? It takes less energy for me not to mow the lawn than it does to mow the lawn. It takes less energy to do the dishes than not to do the dishes. Make sense? So, which brings me to the point of this video, the point of what I do every single morning. What is the first chaotic event that ensues every single morning to all of us when we first wake up? And it has to do with this, the bed, right? Every morning when we wake up, what do? We get right on out of bed, and then, well, if you're like me, you gotta go run off to the bathroom because your gallbladder's about to explode, but then we come back after the bathroom, and what do we look at? The bed is a complete mess, right? And it's probably, if you're like me, I move around in my sleep, so it's probably even more destroyed, but the bed is a mess, it is unmade, it is chaotic. We are in a chaotic environment here. So what do? Is we make the bed. And then order is now restored. And so with this newfound order, along with a few other daily rituals that I take part in, I've now prepared myself for the day. So we are heading out to the student clinic for my first physical. Let's get physical. I cracked myself up. Let's go. Alright, so just got out of the clinic, did a full physical. It took a little while, it took about 2 hours or so, but we did full physical examination, went through all my health history and so forth, so it took a little while, but it was well worth it because I found out that I have some pretty serious muscle imbalances in my whole spine, even in my right iliac region, thoracic, and even in my cervical neck area. What's interesting about this, and this is why I'm such a huge advocate for regular chiropractic care, is because I wasn't experiencing any pain. No symptoms whatsoever. I walked into the clinic thinking that I was fine, I was healthy, and I was just here for wellness care. And little did I know that I'm pretty messed up. There's some serious stuff going on. It can be causing some effects. This is why, you know, I'm a regular advocate for getting regular care, because had I have not come in here today, who knows how long it could have taken before I was experiencing pain. And just because I'm not experiencing pain doesn't mean that there's stuff going on, right? So really glad that it got checked. We got, I'm gonna be coming in for regular adjustments to get a lot of this stuff corrected. And yeah, this is a little PSA, a little reminder myself that just because you're not experiencing pain, or just because chaos hasn't ensued, does not mean that you just sit around and wait. This is the second law of thermodynamics, and I'm about to tie this in really quick with the overall big picture of what I want to talk about today. Whoops. That, my friends, is what chaos looks like. So I want to expand a little bit on what happened at the student clinic earlier. So remember, I walked in, didn't feel any pain whatsoever, and we went through all my health history and stuff, and then we, you know, she was feeling around doing some tests on me, and then we noticed that I had some muscle imbalances on my right side, and that makes sense because I've always been tense and had a little bit of tension there. Besides that, I've been fine. Right? Besides that, I exercise normally. I have, for my age and as a male, I have great flexibility and mobility. I thought I was fine. It's okay. And that wasn't that big of a deal. Okay, we got some muscle imbalances on the right side. It caused a little bit of scoliosis there in my spine and my thoracic region, but it's probably just likely a cause of my muscle imbalances, and we're gonna work through that and deal with that. But then we started working on my spine and feeling around there. And it was pretty bad, right? And this was not likely a cause of the muscle imbalances, but actually there's something going on with my spine being misaligned there in my neck area. And this made me think of something, and I want to address and talk about this. It's something a little bit personal that's been going on in my life. It's a battle that I've kind of been fighting, an internal battle. I think we all have a battle that nobody knows something about, and so this is my battle. And as a kid, as a child, I've always been a great listener. I've been a great conversationalist. I've had no problem focusing in my life. That's been all the same up through my adulthood, and that's just how the way things have been. However, about 4 months ago, I started to notice something. Something was changing in my brain chemistry. It was weird. Mostly it was appearing in the conversations that I was having with people, where at first I noticed that I would just start to lose focus during the conversations. And then it got worse and worse over time. And now it's kind of progressed to a point where I'll be having a conversation with somebody and I'll completely blank about what we're talking about. Seriously. Not joking with this. And they'd like wait for my response, but I would kind of like stop and stutter and be like, what were we talking about? What'd you say again? Or like they'd be laughing and joking and like waiting for my response, but I'm like, I don't know what you just said. And it's embarrassing, and I'm embarrassed to even bring this up right now, but it's just the truth. And so I always thought that it was just a me problem, that it was a problem with my ability to focus, right? That I just had too much on my plate. I was thinking about too far ahead or thinking about something else other than the conversation, right? But I've had no other problems focusing in class or school. It's mostly just in conversations that I was having with people. And I started doing something called the 30-day meditation challenge, where every day for the past month or so, I've been meditating every day. And the real reason why I've been doing that is so that way I can have more mindfulness with the conversations that I'm having with people. And meditation has been great for me. And another thing is that I don't believe that it was a cause that I wasn't here in the now of the conversation, because number one, I've been always a great listener. Number two, I don't have necessarily any emotional stresses or anything bothering me right now in life. Even with this new stage of my life being here in school, I really haven't been that stressed out about it. I can adapt pretty well to new situations, to new environments. But still, I thought that had to have been the cause. Something was different, right? So I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown here. So in the spine, there are the spinal cord, right? Wraps down through the spinal column. Through the neck region, right? You have nerves that are proliferating through the entire body, that are controlling your entire body. And these nerves run to and from up into the front of your brain and back down through the neck, through the spinal cord. Now, it also happens that the front of the brain controls focus and reasoning and conversations. So I find it all too coincidental that in the neck region, that is very screwed up on that right side, right in the precise location where the nerves are coming from the frontal lobe down and running through my neck, through the rest of my body, that there's a lot of issues there. So I'm not saying that that is the cause of it. We'll find out certainly with the adjustments that I'm getting, but I think it's something very important to address because I don't believe it's being talked enough about in our culture today. And that coincides with the exact topic that I was planning on talking about today. How coincident is even that? That the conversation I was having about chaos and order, this new epiphany, this realization happened to me while I was at the student clinic today. And that's that, look, you don't wait until things go wrong. You don't wait until chaos ensues to recreate order, because bad things are going to happen. Right? And I place the importance about getting chiropractic care and getting checked because you never know. I felt fine. I didn't think anything was wrong with me. Right? And yet here, it very well could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be attributing to my problem with my ability to be able to focus during conversations with people. I don't know. We'll see once I get adjusted. But furthermore, when chaos inevitably ensues in your life, because why? The universe is going to create chaos. Are we going to sustain and create order? For, like it says in Timothy, he must manage his own household well with all dignity. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's kingdom? So where's the chaos in your life at? Right? Maybe you get up in the morning, wake up a little bit late, you got to scramble and get your stuff together to go to class or go to work. You get in the car, you're hurrying, you're waiting in traffic, you get pissed off because you're in traffic, you finally get to work, your boss or your teacher's yelling at you because you're late, you're stressed out, so you go to the break room and make some coffee. You're scrambling, so you spill coffee all over yourself, and now you have a coffee stain, and you're hot and you're burning, you're more stressed out. You do all your work, that was stressful. You get in the car, going back home for the evening, you're waiting in more traffic. You get home, you're tired, you're stressed out. You don't want to clean your room, you're not going to do the dishes. And this repeats. The cycle of chaos repeats. Now, I hope, I'm assuming that's not your life I just defined. However, we all have chaos in our lives. Why? Because it's a law of the universe. And if this video did nothing, it showed you the chaos that happens in the world. You saw that lamp fall and break? Right? So, rather than perhaps when we wake from the morning, and the first sign that we realize when we first wake in the morning is that our bed is a mess, that's the first sign of chaos, that we can correct that and create order by making our bed in the morning, then perhaps we can train our minds to create order throughout our life, much like we meditate to create mindfulness through the rest of the day, or we go to the gym and train our muscles so that way we're stronger for the next day. We create order in our life, in our home, first off, so that way we can better serve the world, so we can better serve God's church. Do you follow me? So that is the second thing that I do in the morning. Hope I answered your question. What's up, guys? Hope you enjoyed that video. If you enjoyed that video, then go ahead and give it a like up and subscribe if you want to see some weekly videos I'll be uploading throughout this journey, this process of me going through chiropractic school. And oh, I got a question for you. So I've been getting into tea drinking recently. This is some chamomile tea here, and I want to know for all my tea drinkers out there, what is your favorite tea to brew and how do you brew your own tea? I would love to know, really appreciate it, so go ahead and comment it in below, and you get extra brownie points because I know that you stayed through the entirety of this video. So, I'm about to head to the library because I got not one, but 2 exams next week. It's gonna be a little chaotic, but you know what? I'm gonna go study and put some order to it. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.